I want to show you how I found my clothing manufacturer in 24 hours. This guy has amazing quality clothes, pretty cheap and reasonable prices. He's super trustworthy, never have to worry about scamming or anything with this method that I've used. And I've also found a good loophole and a good way to kind of avoid the tariffs. I'm going to show you exactly kind of the stuff that we've been designing here with my brand, God and Us. Again, super high quality stuff. This is my manufacturer and kind of the way. So first and foremost, I want you guys to go into Alibaba.com. So now, before you say like, oh, this is only China and stuff, there is a way that you can find every single manufacturer here from all across the country, okay, or all across the world. You can find every single manufacturer. It's just a certain way that you have to do it. So first thing, you need to go ahead and type in the niche of your clothing. So don't go to manufacturers yet because you want to be able to, I'll show you. You want to go ahead and type in whatever you're doing. So if you're a streetwear clothing brand, so let's say I'm a streetwear clothing, or if you're a Christian clothing or a high fashion clothing, whatever you are, I'm going to type in streetwear clothing and just search that into products, okay? And then from there, what I'm gonna do is switch over to this suppliers thing so that I can keep this filters tab right here. If you just do it and switch to manufacturers at the beginning, it takes like an AI kind of chat, which is weird. But go on this filters thing and we're gonna check trade assurance. So this one right here is basically where you can put your money into escrow, okay, on Alibaba. So you don't have to worry about getting scammed. I know a huge thing for a lot of people is like, hey, I don't want to get scammed by my supplier. I don't want to send them thousands of dollars, et cetera, and then they don't give me my clothes. Stuff like that happens. If you use trade assurance, it protects all your orders. So they don't get the money until you say that it's good, and then they get the money. So they have to send you your stuff because it puts it in escrow. And then going on to verified suppliers, this helps you work with a lot of suppliers who are already currently they've done it before. They're not, new. They're verified. They've, done millions of dollars in terms of like sales. So you're not working with like a super new kind of person. So I like to use those two filters. And then again, you can use either China or Pakistan. I personally would recommend China. They're a lot cheaper in most instances. Now with the tariff situation going on, I believe the tariffs as of today, it's the 19th of May, 2025. The tariffs is like 30%. It was like 145% in April. They've reduced it down to like 30%. So that even with the 30%, I'd probably still choose Pakistan, but I mean China, not Pakistan. But if you do want to use Pakistan because you're afraid of all the tariffs, or you just have a cultural connect, whatever, to Pakistan, you can select Pakistan right here. Me personally, I always go with China. So I just type in China, or honestly just leave it honestly broad here. But I type in my country that I want to go to, and it's China. These guys are the best manufacturers. They do the best manufacturing, and they have the cheapest and most affordable prices. All right, so now you have a bunch of suppliers here that are all, again, these are all great manufacturers. They're verified. They have trade assurance. They're not going to get paid until you pay them, and they all make super high quality stuff. They're the best suppliers inside of the world. Now you're going to send this message out to 30 to 50 suppliers, okay? And this is huge. The biggest thing is getting a lot of volume and not just texting one or two suppliers, et cetera. You want to get a lot of volume. So I'd say, like, if you're lazy, at least 30, bro. At least 30, but if you want to go above and beyond, you can go like 50 and just text as many people as you can. It should only take like 20 minutes. You're going to send out this message right here. So it's going to say, hi, I want to make a short product description. So like, I want to make a Christian clothing. I want to make, Christian clothing hoodie, whatever, right? And I have some important questions to see if we can work long term. This is huge, using this language long term. You got to understand these guys get a lot of messages a day from people who aren't really that serious. So they really, really love people who say they're going to be long term. All they're wanting is just relationships. In this business, especially in the manufacturing business, it's all about relationships. And if they think you're trying to build a relationship, they're going to go above and beyond. They're going to give you cheaper prices, better quality clothes, and faster turnaround times, okay? And then you want to ask about some of those things that I was talking about, like what is your MOQ? MOQ standing for like minimum order quantity. For some of these suppliers, you're going to make sure you order a certain amount, like on your first bulk. So for this instance, the MOQ is 2 pieces. Sometimes it's like 500 pieces, and you might not be able to afford that. Some of these guys are, they're working with Lululemon kind of size company or Nike size companies, and their MOQ, for it to make sense for them to even work with you, is like 10,000, right? You got to spend 500K or so. Now, obviously, those are extreme suppliers, but you just want to make sure they have a reasonable MOQ, because some of these guys, like I said, they work with Nike. These are the top suppliers in the world, right? how much for a sample. So you're gonna give them a tech pack. So you want to ask them how much it's gonna cost to develop that sample that you're gonna send, and then how many days is it gonna take to make that sample. On average, it's already gonna be 30 days. You should all pretty much expect that, which is why some suppliers though will be able to expedite that process, which is why I ask, can you make the sample faster? Okay, can you do it in a 7 to 14 day window? That's huge, because if they can, then now you have a manufacturer who has quicker turnaround time than the average being 30 days. And most of the time, they can, expedite it if they feel like I said, if you're working with them long term. I've had manufacturers who've done turnaround times for me in like 10 days, right? The reason why they say 30 days is typically these manufacturers are working with a lot of customers. So they have people in line. Okay. So 30 days is like, hey, this is when we'll get to you. But it doesn't take them 30 days to make close. They do that stuff in like 2-3 days. Okay. Again, China, they're the best manufacturing inside of the world. Okay. Which is why America owes trillions and trillions of dollars. They have the best manufacturing. Okay. America's good at other stuff, but like China's superpowers is that. This is a goated question right here. This is something that I've learned from just my years of trying to find manufacturing or just manufacturers. It's just asking them, hey, what is your price for 100 pieces, 500 pieces, and 1,000 pieces? So you can know in the future. And the reason why we're asking for 3 different prices here is the first one, maybe they quote you like, okay, it's $20 a shirt. And the second one is going to be, let's say it's $17 a shirt. And 1,000 pieces is $15 a shirt. Right? So the more you order, they're always going to give you more of a discount because it costs them a little bit less. And they're making, more profit because you're spending more. If you're buying 1,000 shirts, you're going to spend $10K rather than buying 100 shirts. You might spend, $1,500, right? So they're going to give that price that the piece is going to go down price per piece as you order more. The reason why we ask for 1,000 pieces or that higher, this right here, when you get to 1,000 pieces, it's pretty much going to max them out. So, whenever they give you this price right here, it's going to be the cheapest that they can absolutely give you that product for, which is where you want to start from. The biggest thing a lot of people don't understand is like, you can negotiate with these people. The price they're going to tell you is not going to be the absolute price. Okay. This is China. This is like more like you can negotiate anything and everything. Every price is negotiable. This gives you the lowest that they can produce any product for and gives you a great competitive number. Okay, so they might quote you 17 for 100 pieces, but $15 at 1,000 pieces, you should come back and say, hey, can we do 15 pieces or can we do $15 and I'll do 100 pieces to start? Just to, and you say some excuse just to test out the order quality, so that just gives you a great way to, like I said, have a competitive number and understand what their cheapest price is while still making some sort of profit that they can order. You can ask them that. I hope we can work together for a long time. Again, emphasizing that long time. I will send you more details on the sample now. Thank you. And then you send the tech pack. Okay. So you do want to send a tech pack out. If I could show you an example of a tech pack here. So here's an example of like what a tech pack should look like. You can get these done on Fiverr. Just type in or tech pack, and you can get these done for like $10 to $15. You should have these for each of your pieces. This is going to save you a ton of money because each time you order a sample, it's going to cost you like $100 at the very least, right? You want your supplier to be able to make that perfectly. You don't want to have to order 1 sample or 2 extra samples or 3 extra samples, wait all that time, energy, effort, and money. You want to get it done the right way. This one right here, it just tells them everything they need to know. Okay, like the fabric, it lets them know the the logo, the sizing, put the sizing and stuff like that, the zipper, every little small detail. They should be able to look at your tech pack and be able to accurately produce it. That's what a tech pack is. It's a blueprint. Okay. So when you put that and then you put the blueprint, they can look at that and automatically be able to create it. So again, you want to send this message out to 30 to 50 suppliers. And what you're going to do is you're going to see a lot of these suppliers. So you'll go right here, go to chat now. Okay. And then you can copy this right here, copy that. And by the way, if you comment the word supplier down in the comments in YouTube, I'll send you this entire document so you can just copy this for yourself. You can have this entire doc with all the little notes and stuff. So if you comment the word supplier, I'll send that to you. But you can go right here, text it, make sure it all looks good. I probably would, split this up. Hi, I want to make sure, I'll just give you an example. I want to make a Christian hoodie. just a short description, whatever. Have some important questions, see if we can work together long term. What is your MOQ? How many, can you make samples, and I'd probably break it up like that. And then I'd send it, okay? And you're gonna send it, it's gonna look like this. You'll do that 30 to 50 times. Most of these guys, like I said, are gonna have the same similar MOQ. A lot of them are gonna have different prices on how much the sample is gonna be. Some people might say $100. Some people might say $150. Some people might say $70. Now you might think, okay, go to the cheapest price. Again, you want to also look at quality, which is why I say 30 to 50 suppliers. So you're going to have a broad range of people. Some people might quote you 150. Some people might quote you 70. Whatever the guys in the middle are quoting is most likely where you should be buying. Okay, you don't want to buy too cheap because then you get like low quality stuff and it just sounds like sketchy, right? Even though you have trade assurance, you don't want to take the risk. You don't want to have sketchy, low quality clothes. You don't want to buy too much because you're spending too much money on something that you can get for cheaper. This middle price is like where you should fall. So if you're asking me, how much should I spend on a shirt? It depends on what you're trying to do. Okay, your hoodie, your shirt, your zip up, they're all going to be different. It depends on your shirt and what you're trying to make. They're all going to be quoted differently, but that's how you find the best pricing is reach out to 30 people, see what all 30 people say, and then get the mean. Okay, and get that price and go for that price. How many days is it going to take to make this sample? Again, a broad different of answers will come here. Most people are going to say 30 days. Most people are going to say they can't make the sample faster. Most people are going to say they can't. This, if they answer yes, is like a super supplier. If you find one of those people that can make it really fast and like everything else checks out, like that's a super supplier. Like those are the people I want to work with because you can get quick turnaround times. And then this one right here, you want to plan for the future. So when you do get that bulk, you want to understand how much it's going to cost. So this is something you want to keep in mind as well. So again, to filter out these suppliers, you want to figure out which one of these guys is having the quickest response time. So like within 12 to 24 hours, you have to understand China is 12 hours difference from America. So you cannot be expecting them to respond within, if you're texting them at 9 a.m., it's 9 p.m. for them. You got to understand that. So give them like a 24-hour window at the very worst. If they're taking like 2-3 days to respond, you want to work with somebody who's going to take forever to do your clothes, right? Do they have reasonable pricing? Again, you want to get that mean pricing. Like, is it in the average pricing? Reasonable. Do they have that expedited production? If they don't, I've worked with suppliers who don't have expedited production. Most of them aren't, right? It's just not reasonable. If they have a lot of customers, et cetera. If they do, it's an additive, but it's not like a end all be all. Do they have professional responses? Okay, like do they have a profile picture on their thing? Right? If they don't have like a profile picture, it's kind of like, like I'll still work. I've worked with manufacturers who don't have profile pictures, but like again, he's like, I don't know, right? You want to have like a nice profile picture. Most of these girls here are fake anyway. Like they'll put like these weird AI images or just like fake images from Google, but still I'd rather that because it looks a lot more professional. You see how they'll like structure it, best regards, and they'll make it all like super, super structured. For instance, this one right here, they answered the question, MOQ is 100 pieces. I'll check the sample cost, production time, blah, blah, blah. Can you share more details about the sample? And that's where you should have sent the tech pack before. Okay. That's how you filter out the suppliers. Keep in mind, I'm not looking for things like the reviews or like factory certifications personally. This is just me. Again, I'm texting 30 to 50. I put a lot of trust into Alibaba. I've never been screwed on Alibaba because of trade assurance. So this has always been the way I found every single manufacturer on here is top tier. I've never run into a manufacturer who wasn't good on Alibaba. So I pretty much trust all of them because they have to make good stuff or I just don't give them the money. But like what a lot of people will do is like separate by how many, how much money they've did or how big the store is, how many reviews and ratings. You can get into all that stuff. It's not going to hurt for sure. I've worked with everyone from who has barely any reviews to hundreds of reviews. It's all the same. These guys are all very great. Okay. All of them are very, very great. They're all competing against each other. So they know that. And everyone has very great quality. Okay. I personally don't look for that stuff, but I know you're going to ask, why haven't we talked about shipping? Okay. Like why haven't you talked about how to ship? I don't ship with the actual manufacturer himself. I do a freight forwarder. Okay, so I like the manufacturer to just manufacture the clothes, and then I have a freight forwarder that I find ship those clothes to me. Like they take care of the shipping. The thing with working with the freight forwarder, instead of like having the manufacturer themselves ship it, is the freight forwarder is going to give you a lot cheaper prices, and it's going to be a lot quicker. Okay, their job is to only ship, so they figure out ways to make it cheaper, etc. And what you'll find is some manufacturers will give you like a really cheap price on like producing, but they'll charge you a lot on shipping. Okay, these freight forwarders are going to give you a great price here. and I like to separate them so I can save money and do it quicker. So how to find these freight forwarders, me personally, you go in the exact same kind of method here. Go into Alibaba.com. You want to type in freight forwarders. Okay. Type in freight forwarders right there. You're going to set filters. So I want you to set it by verified supplier right here. You want to get trade assurance. Same thing. And then you want to go previously exported to USA so that you know that they've, or whatever your country is. It's most likely USA though. Right here, previously exported to, and you want to type in USA. So you know they have shipped to USA before. It's not a first time thing. They can't go from China to USA because they've done it before, right? Again, here, you want to message to about 5 to 10 suppliers. I don't go nearly as many as the actual manufacturers because 9 times, like I said, all the freight forwarders, their job is to only ship. It's not that hard, right? Most of them are all going to say about the same thing anyway. I just like to do 5 to 10 just to kind of get like a, just like a little bit of a range. I've always, anytime I buy anything from anybody, I ask a couple people, right? You don't just take the first price, you ask 5, 10 people. So that's just in the sake of that. I ask anyway, but you're going to get about the same stuff. This is the message you send. It's like, hey, I need a freight forwarder who can ship some products from China to USA. Can you help with this? I have a few questions. Do you offer DDP? So right here is DDP shipping. It's like direct to door. I forget like actual acronym. But that way you don't have to pay like custom clearance or any of that stuff. If you don't get DDP shipping, you're basically going to have to pay for like the customs and, you're going to have to pay a bunch of extra fees that you don't. DDP is basically no fees. Like the price that they charge you is that price. Okay. So you always want to pay for DDP. You don't want to pay for anything else because then they're going to give you fees on top of it just to get your stuff. You want to ask them about sea or air shipping options. You're always probably going to want to go air shipping because it's the quickest. You're going to ask them how long does shipping take. They're going to say like 45 days for sea and maybe like, 10 days, honestly, 7 to 10 days for air. Again, you're going to want to go air. Air is going to be more expensive, but time is money. Can you pick up for my supplier? Most of them are going to be able to, but what's going to happen is your manufacturer is going to finish the close. You're going to connect that with the freight forwarder, say, hey, my manufacturer's address is this, pick it up from there and ship it to me. My address is this. Okay. And they're just going to fill that gap through the middleman. Hope to work together long-term. Again, expressing that fact that you want to be long-term. And if you want this full document with both of these, again, comment the word brand and I'll send it over to you. Filtering out freight forwarders. Again, most of these guys are going to be relatively the same, but the big difference is making sure they have a quick response time. It's under 12 to 24 hours. Okay. Make sure they're reasonably priced. They're going to give you a bunch of prices. Make sure you pick the ones in the middle. And then just make sure it's professional. Okay. You don't want to pick the people with like no profile pic, etc. Pick the people who are texting, with like they text like they're an agent, like they text with some professionalism, and they have people like they're $1 million company and they do stuff in business professionally. That's how you find a manufacturer. That's enough yapping for this video. I covered a lot. Again, this is the full guide on how to find a manufacturer and how I personally found every single manufacturer that I've been ever worked with any clothing brand, with anything ever. It's always been with this exact method. And this is the way you find the best ones without getting scammed, without paying overly expensive prices, getting the best quality. This is the method right now, and this is going to be the method all 2025. So implement this if you're trying to find a clothing manufacturer. If you need help scaling your brand, okay, or if you need help working with your clothing brand one-on-one, or if you need help, whatever the manufacturing, or if you need help running your ads, whatever, I do one-on-one mentorship, so you can go apply for that link in the YouTube description. So just go check that out if you want to apply. Other than that, that's this entire video. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.